Good evening. Well, the Who's the last 2 days have been on up in the coalfields at Newcastle. On the first day, yesterday, Wednesday, the Cameron was on, won by rolling pin, and today the Cup was on, and it was won by the favourite Gay's horse, Glen Cadam Gold. We'll get to that. Anyway, the first day, I think I might have told you a little bit in advance that the track was going to, I thought it would play leaderish, rail being back in the normal position, and the wind had no effect. The rail was in the normal position both days, and the track was good. The first day the wind was out of the south-east and didn't have any effect, and today it was out of the north-east and didn't have any effect. It's a nice, good breeze, but as I say, no effect. On the yesterday, Wednesday, there were 5 leaders won yesterday, 5 leaders, and there was one runner came from where was it? Race 2. Came from one stage, third last on the fence, getting splits turning for home. A horse called Brown Doubt. My daughter happens to have a share in it. She left me completely out. $11 was given, taken. A bit hard to get the $10 towards the end. It was a very good win. It'll win a couple of more races for them, actually. Anyway, it came from back. But as I said, 5 leaders won. There were 4 favourites on the program that got home, plus 2 third picks, 7-2 chance and a 3-1 chance. The 3-1 chance, well, it was an enormous result from bookies. It went from 6 to 4 to 3s, $2.50 to $4. And the winner of the Cameron rolling pin, it was $18 into 15 taken. I was asked for 15,000, 1,000 with 10 seconds to go. And it led all the way on the fence, as we now know. First race, well, if you laid the $1.24 on at one stage there, halfway up the straight, I'd say that you did say to yourself, this is going to get home, isn't it? Well, it finished up, it did. It won by 1.3 lengths. We're talking about Hidden Warrior, ridden by Nash, went straight to the lead. Didn't go out and lead by have it the race to himself. There was always a runner-up nearing BizJet. A couple of them missed the kick, but anyway, Nash was able to get it home. And those who laid the $1.24 on, say $4 to 1 on, starting $1.18, from 4 on to 11 to 2 on laid on. They took your $1.20, so they laid the 5 on it and started $1.18, and it got the chocolates. Wasn't impressive. A very limited run of that horse. Brown Doubt, as I told you, you've got to give it win an extra tick because it came back admittedly, but it was on the fence. That's the one thing. It did save ground on the fence. Not only leading on the fence, but also saving ground on the fence was an advantage as well. It did slide through on the fence and then eased round the heels halfway up the straight. But as I say, it was a good win, won by 2.3 lengths. And they did take $11. The betting in this race, the favourite was a runner called Spanish Matador, trained by John O'Shea, ridden by James McDonald, and unfortunately it missed the kick and did draw barrier 10 in a field of 10. He got track 3 wide for most of the journey. Wasn't the place to be on this track, how it was playing, and it ran likewise. It finished, ran third last beat about 7 lengths. That's about all I'd say there. Another runner got trapped wide in the run, Oakfield Spirit. Manor House led, went fast in front. It's fairly limited, Manor House, but the winner was a fairly good effort in that race. Now, going back to the first race, just quickly, the flux for the 2 days, I must admit, the boys up there who do the flux at Newcastle, I think one of them is one from the city, and the other fellow chap who was helping, they were spot on all day, and yesterday and today. First race 105.3 in the market on the screen, and that was about it in the marketplace as well. Second race, there was about 107.4. There was 107.4 on the screen, and about the same in the ring, maybe a little tiny bit less. Got to the third race, and on the screen we had 109.2, and this was won by the Avery, and the second pick, it ran second. They had a lap on the others, was three lengths to the third horse. Winning the race was Duralian, trained by Gay, drew wide alley. Duralian, ridden by Nash, went straight to the lead, and the second pick, Wiley Bay, ridden by Father Schofield, it sat on its outside. They fought it out all the way, and Nash was able to beat Father Schofield by 0.1 of a length. Held him all the way down the straight. At one stage you said, oh, the horse on the outside will get him, but Duralian kept on kicking through on the inside, and as I say, just won by that margin. It was the betting was it went up 10-9 on, 5-4 on, got to 5-4. Very hard to lay this favourite, I must admit. And even though it got home, it mightn't have been as much damage as it looks on paper. The second pick, Wiley Bay, it went up 5-2, got out to $4, and it only started 9-4. It was very extremely well backed. And look, it was very. What was it bar the two? It was $10 bar the two. Number 8, Ragtime Cowboy Joe, who went from $6 out to that price, out to $10. 5s out to 9-1. Quite a bit of a check in the run, that horse, and it finished up running third. So they the three picks ran the trifecta. We get to race 4. And on the screen 102.9, a little bit less than the marketplace from what I saw. And this was won by Cameo, extremely well backed Cameo, $5.50 given. It went up $5, got to $5.50. It was very hard to get $4.40 at the death, and it started equal second favourite. And Cameo, where did it sit? Cameo, it sat outside the leader. Who was Knockfin Road, who was extremely hard to lay. I haven't cracked it yet. It went up $3, 2-1 Knockfin Road, and I said, here's a chance, might be able to get something out of this. I reached for it, never top dressed, but I whenever I was always top odds, and it went from $3 to $4.60, and I cracked it for a very small section. And it finished up running fourth and led on the fence. So its effort was fairly ordinary. As I say, Cameo won the race, sat outside the lead, got past a turning for home, and just held off Four Nations, who sat in behind the pace from barrier 4, only to win by 0.2 of a length, and 0.3 of a length away was number 9, and it sat behind the leader on the fence. Jack. So that'll just tell you about how the track played there. Another runner in the market was Slivovitz. It opened up 13-4, about $4.20, and got out to $5, but it was extremely well backed into $4. And I think it sat about midfield to finish up running 5th, and beaten about 2.4 lengths. It plugged on, but the advantage was there being near the lead. Race 5, 95.2 on the screen. On the screen, 95.2. It wasn't worth a case of this race, and it was less in the marketplace. You could have shopped and you could have got about 93, and this, but it was a good result for the captains. This is the race where they poleaxed 2 runners, one of them early, and then one of them not too late after that, and it kept on firming all the way through the betting. The first runner, the market went up this way. 7-4 Uarte resuming from a spell, 6-4 Social Rank, and 4-1 $5 California Storm. It got to $2, $3 URT. The pros were into it. At one stage, got 3,000 out of it at $2.80, and it did touch $2.60, but did start $3.30. Got out towards the finish. Social rank went up the 6 to 4, the $2.50 mark. When it was back URT, it got to $3.20 fairly quickly. It sat there for a while, and then the next thing you know, California Storm, who went up third pick at $5 4 to 1, it got to 6, and plenty of it. It did start 5 to 2. It was 5 to 5 to 2. The pros had 3 large plates of this of California Storm, and it finished up. It ran second, but it was beaten 1.3 lengths by Social Rank, who went straight to the front. And Social Rank, with the backing for California Storm and URT, when it got to 3.30, it was taken again to 3.10, $3. It got back to $3.30 at the death, and with the backing of those pair, Social Rank did not have a name and got to $4 on the rails late, and it, what I would say, would have to have been a result for the captains. Funny enough, it bled. Mustn't have been a bad bleed, but it did bleed. And it's now having a 3-month holiday. That's about all I'd say. It did go straight to the front, which was suspected or predicted, and as I say, it led. Social Rank, California Storm, it got to second or third, looking at the leaders, and but was safely held. And running third was Buckmore. Ran a fair race, Buckmore. It was big odds, around about a 60 to 1 chance. And URT, after copping a bit of a check at the start from barrier 1, settled back near last on the fence, and its effort wasn't that good. Race 6, we saw on the screen 103.3, and that was about spot on. That was about what you got here. Now, this was won by, of course, the favourite. This is the Spring Stakes we're talking about, Procia, and Procia went up. Bookies took no risks. Especially when I think the announcement was made a little bit into betting. I don't think I heard it before the start of betting. It was into the betting, but the stablemate, Sumerand, it was going to be ridden back today. We're not going forward. We'll let Procia have the lead today. Procia, you go to the lead. Sumerand, it's going back today, and it did go back. It only went back to last position at one stage, and he took off when they got to the first bend and got pratted 3 wide, unfortunately, and he dropped out and ran second last, beaten 10.2 lengths. The stablemate of the favourite, and Gay's going to send this Nettie for a spell now. Also going to geld it. And she said, but it most probably came to its end of its preparation anyway. So that was that. But up in front, sailing away, winning by 5.8 lengths, was Procia. It's a handy little galloper, this runner. Was advantaged by leading on the fence, but it wouldn't have mattered what happened. It would have won, and it bolted in. The betting went up $1.30, and it wasn't laid on. It was always there, and when they jumped, before they jumped, the bookies let you lay the 5 to 2 on. I think it was laid on, but there's a rough chance you even might have been able to lay it on 1 or 2 boards when they jumped. It was returned $1.30. Proverb, who started second favourite, it finished up running third. It settled down second last on the fence, and it was held up turning for home. It never got cleared all halfway up the straight, but even if it would have finished maybe a bit, it would have finished closer, but most certainly wouldn't have beaten the winner. Race 7, on the screen only 100.4 in the marketplace, a little bit less. You can take a couple off it, and this was the Cameron we're talking about, and going straight to the front was Rolling Pin. Led me two or three lengths when they hit the first bend. Behind it was Tagus, ridden by the Pumper, and then it was another 2 or 3 good lengths to and a bit lengths to Offenders, who missed the kick slightly, but was still up in third hole, and this was always going to be hard to beat. He had it rolling nicely, pardon the pun, Christian Reith, and when they turned for home, he still had a nice little handy break, and he held that break all the way up the straight to just last, by the same token, only by 0.2 of a length from Light in the Night, who got back from barrier 3 to second last position, but found the fence, got inside runners turning for home, and did make up plenty of ground. Now, the winner, as I say, $18 was given. 18 was given. Did only start 15, hard to get. I was asked for 15,000 a thousand with 30 seconds to go, and I didn't bet the pro the 15 for 1. I only bet him to win 3,000. I was already taking up plenty of money with me. I wasn't holding that much, and it took the cream. It took the cream off the top of the cake. Anyway, and the favourite in this race, well, the betting was Monton was $9 out to $11, back into $8.50. Contiki Park went from $3.50 out to $4, back into 9 to 4. And unfortunately, it settled down last at Contiki Park, and Nash admitted that it wasn't the place to be back in the field on the way the track was playing, and its run wasn't as bad as it looked. Tagus was $10 out to 11. Western Symbol, stablemate of the favourite, didn't have a price, $5 to $7.50. They took 50 out, and kind of one stage into 30. The winner, as I said, is 18 into 15. Darcy the Good, it went from $8 to 11. Offenders was 25 out to 30. Light in the Night, it went from $4 out to $5, back into 480, and Garidian was $101 out to 151. And as I say, it might seem a result, but the winner was extremely well backed, and leading on the fence got it. That's the reason why I got home. Would have had to sit outside 1 leader. If Tagus would have led and he Rolling Pin sat on the outside of it, it doesn't win, does it? Now, race 8, the last race, it was all right on the screen, 108.8, and in the marketplace was a little bit less. And there were a few runners you couldn't lay, but winning this race was the favourite, and running second was the second favourite. Talking about Savage Blaze winning the race from barrier 1, and Planet Purple, who was always going to go back and did settle back in second last position, ridden by Huey. There were 1, 2, 3, 4 scratchings, the field of 10. He settled down 9th. He got held up slightly turning for home, but made up plenty of ground, getting inside runners and inside the winner, looking a chance of beating him for 1 or 2 hops, but was held on the line. The winner was ridden by Nash. He got a lovely suck up in about 5th position, drew 1, and eased off the fence, got onto the back of Knowing Me, who'd pulled during the run, and he coasted to the leaders turning for home and got enough break, Nash, to hold off Huey, who came from well back. The betting wise, it was hard to lay Planet Purple. I did lay, I think, 3 for 1 late, but that went up $3, 2 to 1, got to 13 to 4, back into $4. Zippy's, there is a little bit of money for it. Passaro didn't have a price really, and Savage Blaze, it went from $3.50 out to $4, back into $3.50. Very hard to get. Starting favourite. It was back Knowing Me at one stage, 5 to 2 out to $5, back into $4.40, back out to $5, and Set of Rocks, it had a price. It was $15 given, started about $10, and the 3 runners below that were big odds, and they didn't really have names. First and second in that race had, as it turned out, had plenty on the others. That was the first day. The second day, now if you're a bookie and you didn't handle the first day very well, it was going to be very hard for you to escape, because the set that that finished up getting served up to us was a pretty client set. Out of the 8 races, there were 5 Averys. 5 Averys greeted the judge. 2 second Averys. Now we've only got 1 race left, and that was the Tibby Stakes, and it was won by Nocturnal. Went up 9-2, got to 11-2. What price did it start? It started $5, so it was 4s to 11-2, back to 4s. I did lay 5 monkeys early in the piece, laid it at $6.50 after that, and towards the finish I was how much at the $5.50. No, I wasn't how much at it. I was only asked for 2,000 to 440, which made me wind it into the $5 mark, which price it started. So it was a very ordinary set. 5 favourites, 2 second favourites, and 11-2 to 4-1 chance. Very hard to win there if you're a captive cookie today. Now the first race, it was won by the Avery, and that was Binalong Road. Must admit it was a bit easy in the betting. Went up $3 and got out to $3.80, taken right towards the finish, but only into 370, 360. But it did start, was enough to make a start favourite. Boston Tea, it was well backed at one stage. It was $4.40 out to $5, into $4. Hard to get at one stage. I think I did lay 3 for 1 when it touched the rock bottom, but it got to $4.40 or 60 on my board when they jumped. Excuse me. Leading in the race, and I suppose running fairly ordinary, although it did go fast, was How Do You Do It? Number 1, ridden by Jimmy, opened up $10, got to 11. It did touch $7.50 at one stage, but got back out to 9 towards the finish. Who else was in the market? Number 5 was in the market, Lightning Drill. It went up $5.50, got to $6.50, into $5.50 at one stage, hard to get, but got back out to 6. Binalong Road, the winner. The runners below Lightning Drill, all you could lay them, but not for a lot of section. And going back to the winner, it was ridden by Corey Brown. He sat in about 4th hole, half carving, and when they levelled out after straightening, it was apparent when he raced up to the leader. How did he do it? That he was going to win, and he did, and he went away and won by 2 lengths. And coming from last, wasn't a bad run. In between runners was the second horse, Albie, off barrier 1, hadn't spent a penny to coming to the turn, and as I say, but did find the line well, and running third in the race was Lightning Dew. It had its chance. The winner was too good there. Race 2 on. Now go back to that first race. Did I say it? Did I say it? I don't think I did. In the first race, opening the innings, batting it today with the captains, and we said here 98.8 to open the innings in the first race. On the screen, and that was about what it was in the marketplace as well. Race 2, 108.7. It was around about that in the marketplace, but unfortunately, I don't know what was returned SP, but the scratching, it didn't have a price. So there's 20% of your market. It might have been 108.7 on the screen, but there was 20% that just wasn't there. And I'm talking about the horse that never went around, Southern Alliance. It wouldn't load, and it was scratched the barrier. It did open up $3, 2 to 1, and it was $5 begging at the death. I haven't written its name in the ledger. Didn't matter anyway. It was scratched the barrier. This race was won by the first starter, Heart Tester, ridden by Jay Collette, this young kid, and also trained by Waller. Drew barrier 1, copped a fairly heavy prat at the start with, I think, John O'Shea's horse, Game Thief, who drew barrier 2. The 2 New Zealand boys came together. Anyway, it was still able to hold the fence, Heart Tester, which got it home. And it was $5 out to $5.50 into $4. $4. That was before the scratching of Southern Alliance. So when it was taken out, its SP now would be around about the 5-2 mark, and it, as I say, held on and won. Sitting outside it was Power Struggle, who dropped off. It didn't have a price, Power Struggle. It went from Power Struggle didn't have a price. It went from $3.50 to $6.50 taken into $6. So I suppose it did have a price at $6.50, and when the scratching came out, it was returned about a 7-2 chance. Now, starting favourite in this race was the second horse, and unfortunately the track beat it, having to come around them wide on the turn. I'm talking about Complicate, ridden by Karen McAvoy, settled down in about 6th or 7th or 8th position. Drew barrier 10. He slotted in, always off the fence, but he had cover and hooked around the heels, turning for home. It's a nice big strider. He had to try and run down the leader, who had a kick in it when they turned for home and got clear, and he just failed to get it by 0.2 of a length. And it was a good gap away to the third horse, Couch Potato, who jumped awkwardly and was held up slightly in the run, but it was 2.7 lengths away. First and second there, but as I say, first had the advantage of the track bias in its favour, where the second horse had to come around them wide on the turn. That's about all I would say there. Race 3 on the screen, a fat 113.3%, but there was 6 less in the marketplace, around about 107. It didn't matter. The Avery won the race. Maydell, Karen didn't mess around this time. He drew in fairly close. He drew barrier 3 on Maydell. Went straight to the lead, and it started favourite. Went up $3, got to $3.70, but it was extremely well backed. Bookies reached for it and paid the penalty. It was $3 when it got to $3.80 and $3.70. It only started at $3.50. Not even that, maybe $3.40. Was very well backed in the last few minutes of betting, and it went straight to the lead, as I say, and held on and beat a horse that the pros found late. It was number 15, Kim Dynasty. I gave 50 to 1, and it was 50s into 30s late, back for a good bit of section actually by one of the pros, and it sat in third position and held on very well, beaten 2.5 lengths. It was a little bit wide all the way as well, so its run wasn't as bad as it looked. Well, it was a little bit better than it looked, I should say. And running third in the race was number 12, which was the opening favourite, or opening equal favourite, Niobe, and it sat second in between the pair that I've just spoken about, and Maydell and Kim Dynasty. It sat second and finished up running third, and it was extremely hard to lay at one stage. It went up $3, 2 to 1 equal favourite with Maydell, but it got to $4.60 into $4.20 at one stage, but did start $4.40. A runner that was not suited the way the track was playing was Saborg, number 13. It went up about a 3 to 1 chance, $4, and got to $4.60. Was well backed again into about $4.20 at one stage, or even $4, but got back out to $4.20 towards the end of betting. And unfortunately, it got trapped wide. I'm not too sure about that, but I know it was wide on the turn. Whether it had cover before that, I haven't looked at the tape, but it wasn't the place to be. But it did finish. It did finish past midfield, beaten around about 6 lengths or whatever. But the winner, it had that cosy position on the fence up near the lead, and that was the place to be today. Race 4 on the screen, 102.6, and that's about spot on. That's what it was in the marketplace. But as skinny as it was, the Avery got the cash here. Harada Bay resuming from a spell. It I thought I marked it longer than it started. Well, it started. Um, $2.70 or 80 it went up. It wasn't there for very long, and the pros said, "Oh my God, we're starving." They had a large plate of this, and it was into $2. They how much me the 280, and it was into $2.40 at one stage. Got back out to that price. Got back out to the 280, but right towards the finish, it was $2.70 taken, and the $2.60 taken, and it was hard to get the $2.50. Um, but it did start at $2.50. Was given a good ride by Jenny Duggan. She was always up near the lead, in between runners, and she was slightly held up, trying to get in between runners when they turned for home. But she's a very capable young rider, this girl, and she was able to get it home. The horse that she caught on the line was Inherited, who sat second outside the leader, second string, which was a little bit unusual for it leading today. But Tommy Berry said he was Nathan it was, Naughty Nathan. He said we'll get up near the lead because it gets back in its races, and he did. He went very quick. It led on the fence. It finished, unfortunately, it's not its pattern. It finished up dropping out, running last, the winner, as I say, it was always handy, and it caught Inherited on the line. When they did cross the line, there was between about 7 runners, 3, 4, 5, 7 runners, only 2.2 lengths. There wasn't a lot between them, but the winner, it drew barrier 2. It wasn't on the fence, but it was one off. But it, I suppose you can't take anything away from it, but run the race over again, and you could get a different result. And I suppose it might be a little bit longer than it started. Sailors Farewell found the line well, came from last on the fence, and got held up at one stage looking for a run. Unfortunately, it got the second pick, was Exotic Escape, ridden by the Pumper. Copped a bit of a prat at the start, and then when he tried to go up and find the lead, they got up underneath him, and he was trapped 3 wide. Then he had to ease. It had won its last 4 runs, but they were all on the Acton track. So today was on the grass. Whether that made a difference or not, but it never got beat far. It was only 1.7 lengths away, I think, in about 6th hole. So its run was all right. Race 5 on the screen, no good here in the Provincial Cup. 98.7 on the screen only, and in the marketplace, that was about spot on. As I say, might have been a fraction less. The SP of the winner, 6-4, seemed a bit funny. I thought there was plenty of 7-4 available when they jumped, net worth, and it was able to catch the second favourite on the line. Talking about Komodo Blue, who was taken straight to the lead by Father Schofield, and it led $3.50. It went up, and it was poleaxed by the pros into $2, well, into $2.90, $3. Very hard to get at one stage. Back out to the $3.30, and back out to the $3.30, but and then back into $3, starting 2-1. And when it was backed early, bookies reached for the winner net worth from $2.80 opening price out to $3.20 and 30, well, $3.20, but and it touched $2.80 at one stage, starting only $2.70, and it sat in 3rd hole. As I said, it led Komodo Blue. Sitting on the south side was the 3rd favourite, Azar of Zangari, who was extremely hard to lay, along with number 1 Vilkazi Street. Both of them went up. They went up 3rd and 4th favourites. I'll tell you their fluctuations in a minute. But sitting outside the lead was Vilkazi Street. Was Zar of Yangari, and it has only been beaten 0.3 of a length. So its run was good, and and the winner, net worth, he pulled on the rider a little bit early, but then that brilliant rider, Blake Shin, was able to settle it, give it a cosy run, hooked off their heels, turning for home, balanced it up, and was able to bob Father Schofield on the line to win by 0.1 of a length. And as I say, the third pick was only 0.3 of a length away. The fluctuations of Zara of Zangari, it went up $5, it got to 9, and similar, Vilkazi Street, it opened up $4.40, third pick, and it got to $9 as well. Very hard to lay. And as I said, there was less than 100 in the marketplace. Not much good. Race 6. This was the Tibby. I was telling the Tibby, and this was on the 2 days. On the 2 days, this was the best thing beaten on the 2 days. Talking about a horse called Irish Dream. When they turned for home, if the split would have come, after turning for home, even though it's been beaten 2.5 lengths, I've got no doubt it would have won. They turned for home. Irish Dream was on the back. He was in third last position, looking at Nash, who was in between runners, back in about fifth last position. And when they turned for home, Huey tried to ease to the outside of the favourite, Miss Stella Bell, but he couldn't, and he was held up for a long time, and then had to switch back inside heels. And when he did that, the favourite also had a little bit of a buffer with a couple of runners trying to get through a gap, and so there was no way in the world. And Nash had got it once he got clear, got it highballing. So there was no way in the world that Irish Dream was going to be able to finish in front of Miss Stella Bell, but losing the ground he did. But when he shifted back inside, he was able to accelerate, and he finished up running third, beaten 2.5 lengths, and the favourite was 3.2 lengths in fourth hole. Bit disappointing, the favourite. Winning the race, as I said, was Nocturnal. It had barrier 1, sat 3 back on the fence, got a lovely run, and even though it was held up slightly, but nowhere as bad as Irish Dream, and it was able to catch when they turned for home. Excuse me. Well, leading in the race was the 150 to 1 chance Empress Millie. She dropped off. Behind her on the fence was She Goes to Rio, who pulled up with a poor recovery rate. It must have got off the fence, Nocturnal, getting around She Goes to Rio's heel, and on Nocturnal's back was New Beginning from barrier 3, and it went straight along the 18 pence and got a good and had an interrupted run. It would have been a great result for bookies, but it wasn't to be the case. And then Father Schofield got balanced up again on Nocturnal and caught it on the line to beat it by 1/2 a length. I told you the fluctuations of the winner. The favourite, unfortunately, I missed laying this. I laid it, but nowhere as much section I would have liked to have. Went up $2.40, got to $2.80, and it was into $2.40 at one stage. It was returned $2.40. I was $2.70 when they jumped, desperate to lay it, and anyway, we know what happened now. And as I said, the second horse would have been a great result for bookies. New Beginning. It went up $7, and it did start 12. The only roughie to be back for any section was General's Sniper, who went up $16 or $15, got to 18, but did start only $13, hard to get. Laid it for plenty of section. But as I say, on the 2 days, up there, the best thing beaten was Irish Dream. It should have won. I did see $7 at one stage. It opened up $5, got to $7 on 1 or 2 boards, back into $6.50 taken, but out to $6.50 towards death. Taken again, only started $6, hard to get. And She Goes to Rio. It was a bit hard to lay. Went from $6 out to $7.50 taken, but back out to $7.50. Even did start it did start $8, even though 7.50 was taken at one stage. Started 8, and that was about the race. Race 7. Won't talk about this one too much. This was the Cup, the Newcastle Cup, and it was one bookie on the fence let you lay the 5 to 2 on, the $1.40 on. But if you, all the way through betting, if you offer the $1.35, if you offered 11 to 4 on, they said yes, the pros that is, how much do you want? And it was laid on, as I say, every time it appeared, and it started at $1.30. I suppose it wouldn't start that price if you run the race again. It has only won by 1.3 lengths. These are staying ranks in Sydney. They're a team of trotters, aren't they? It didn't win like a 3 to 1 on chance. He was taken straight to the, talking about the top weight, Glen Cadam Gold, ridden by Nash, went straight to the front as predicted, sitting on its outside Eulolona, who's very one-paced. Nash had an easy time until about the 1200 metre mark, when its pattern of racing to late French Gift, it took off. It did and went up and challenged Nash to just before the turn when it dropped off. It did lose both of its front plates in the run, French Gift. But Nash, when they turned for home, had plenty of horse underneath him, and he balanced this big gelding up and let it and when he did, he gave it a nice couple of dig ups, and it got clear, and got out in the middle of the track under a bit of pressure, I thought, and it only won by 1.3 of a length. Sitting in fourth hole, running second was Pearl of Bells, who was they took you $15, and running third, who was about fourth or fifth on the fence from barrier 4, was Gazaguru. It was $16 taken at one stage, but started around about that price. As I say, if you'd lay it on, if you laid the 11 of the 3 on, or the 11 to 4 on, I don't think you'd lay it on again if they won the race. And I think next time when this horse does go around, bookies will take risks with it. Come the last, and this was the runner who came from furthest back and widest to win on the 2 days. Funny, it's the last race, wasn't it? And I'm talking about Admiral's Cup. It settled down in third last position, and when they turned for home, they hadn't gone that hard up in front. The rank outsider led in the race, Park Air, 100 to 1, 150 to 1 chance, and it didn't go that fast. Sitting on its outside was the Avery, Master of Darkness, who I thought was very skinny odds. It was opened $2.50 and got to $2.80, into $2.40 at one stage, back out to $2.50 towards the finish, taken again back into $2.40. It sat outside the leader, and it was under pressure turning for home, and it held on fairly ordinary. It got beat 3.7 lengths. Sitting outside, it trapped 3 wide all the way, so its effort's been good to run, where did it run? 1, 2, 3, 4, to run fifth, talking about Dollarino. It got trapped 3 wide outside the leaders all the way, and it was well in the market. It went up $4.40, got out to $8 at one stage, but back into 6 towards the finish. Already told you about the favourite. Now we get to the winner, and we talk about Admiral's Cup. Drew barrier 11, barrier 10 in a field of 11, and it settled down in third last position. It was ridden by Corey Brown. Corey is a great rider, Corey. He eased off heels turning for home, and he finished a bit too well down the outside to win by a half a length, beating Zabu, who was back 50 to 1. I saw Zabu, and he started $26. And the young girl, Miss Alex Stokes, she dropped her whip with 100 metres to go. I don't think it would have made any difference. She got enough out of it, hands and heels. Even if she would have hit it with the whip, it wouldn't have gone 1 inch faster. There were a couple of other runners well backed in this race. Many Stars went up $7, 6 to 1, and got out to $8, 7 to 1. At return $5.50, which was about its SP. It had its chance. It sat just past midfield on the fence. got off heels and weaved in between runners halfway up the straight, and it got into third hole, beaten only 1 length. And they more or less all had their chance in that race, bar Dollarino, who got trapped three wide, and the winner on the 2 days was the runner that came from, as I say, furthest back and widest on the turn to actually win. That's about all I'd say. The meeting, will be 1,000 meetings on tomorrow. And of course, we're back to Randwick on Saturday and Sunday. Good evening.